I'm running like 2 minutes late. That's okay. It just means the coffee's gonna be super hot when I pour it. Why don't you wait a minute? Can you wait a minute? I gotta do this. I gotta pour coffee. And you're gonna try to sit on my lap. It's not gonna work. All right, coffee. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Friday. It's June 25th, 2021. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first, probably scalding, hot, gonna burn my face cup of coffee. Very warm. I'll put that back down. Well, I hope that you have had a good week, maybe even a great week. Let me tell you something. I have. This has been a productive week. We've had some great stuff happen. We got a bunch of things that we're organizing on, events and projects. Like I feel like there's momentum finally. I feel like we had momentum and then COVID hit and we lost it all and we've had to rebuild from scratch. And because of some of the things that happened with me personally, that's made it even more difficult. Now, I'm going to show you something. This is one of the things that I do to reward you for watching this show. I'm going to show you things that you're not going to see elsewhere. Things that we've got going on. Like a very happy cat. Can you hear her? So when she purrs like this, that very high pitch, like that really high pitched purr, that's when she's the happiest. She's incredibly happy right now. I don't know why. She just sit on my lap. I'm going to show you two things. First one is something that I spent a good portion of yesterday putting in envelopes. First issue of Marshall Journal. So Marshall Journal, the 100 copies are in a box. Well, 99. This one's mine. Are in a box over there, addressed, stuffed, sealed, stamped, and I'm going to drop them off at the post office today. Now, we are running, let's see, 2.8 to 2.9. We're running a little over half an ounce below the limit for a stamp. So that means that over time we're going to be able to add a few pages and maybe some bonuses. Like on this one, I threw in a whistlekick sticker for everybody. I'm going to show you like one page inside. What page do I want to show you? Some of the layout that Justin did on this is super cool. Oh, how about this article? Good morning, Stacy and Andrew. 5 tips for finding a teacher, written by me. And there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 contributors, 36 pages, some ads, some explanation, some photos. It's all here. I'm really proud of what we've put together. I'm really excited to see what it brings. So that's going out today, which means we're going to get the digital copy out mid next week. It's ready. We want to make sure that people who are getting the paper copy get the chance to get it and read it. It's one of the rewards. Not only do you get it physically for free, but you get it first. And then we'll put the digital copy out. We're going to start the promotion on that. Hey, you come lay down. I don't like when you're up there. You end up getting your claws stuck into stuff, and then you bite me, and you're mad. Come on. Lay down. I wonder if Johnny Carson ever had to deal with this. I mentioned on Tuesday that I cleaned out the warehouse, the training space. So Andrew, next time you come, we won't be so confined. But as I was doing so, I found something that I forgot about. And a lot of you may not have been around when I made these. Watch your butt. Have you guys seen these before? The first pair of whistlekick shoes. They were released with the idea that they would be made to order. Nobody ordered them in the timeline that we set them up. There are a few people who have other whistlekick shoes. I know Scott Bowen has a pair. There are a handful of people who bought kind of they were like the Converse low top canvas sneakers. We've got a few pairs of those out there, but it's the only pair of those. We've had a couple incidents with mice getting into the warehouse, so I pulled those back because I didn't want them to chew on the box. I found a pair of forearm guards that a mouse had chewed on for some silly reason. But I have a little bit more space. That client pulled some of their stuff out. So, that's good. All right. So what happened Thursday? Thursday was a weird day in a great way. So I spent a lot of time working on getting the Marshall Journal stuff together. I had to put them in envelopes and print out labels, and of course labels never print right. And then I had exactly the right number of labels, right number of sheets, and one of them fed wrong. So I had to go over to Staples and buy another box. I would have had to anyway, but I bought more of those. And I had to go to the post office to get stamps because I didn't have 100 stamps. So I think we broke even on this first issue, which is kind of cool. I'm pretty pumped for that. But next steps on that, issue 2, looking for a salesperson. If you know anybody. What else? What else happened yesterday? Oh, and then some extended family was in the area, and they let me know. They took me to lunch, so we had lunch. That was kind of 4 hours. I was prepared for it. I didn't have a lot scheduled for the day, but it was still a busy day because of that. And I went to the gym and worked out a bit, and went to the grocery store, and bought protein and ice cream. I didn't have any of the ice cream. I learned I'm gonna put it in the chest freezer in the garage so I forget about it. Then I have it, but I forget about it. So one day in the future when I'm like, man, I wish I really had some ice cream, I'll remember that. But I just won't be tempted because it's there every time I open the freezer on the inside. Oh. Anything else happening yesterday? I don't think so. The woodchuck and I are arguing again. Well, one of them. The one that I've let live here for a while. And so that brings us to today. Today I've got some stuff planned. I've got a couple meetings. There's a Zoom that I'm going to possibly go to, probably go to. So was it Wednesday? Yesterday? I think it may have been yesterday morning. I put up some information on Patreon about who the upcoming guests were. And the last one that I put up was a name that a bunch of you may know. Somebody who's been around, done some kind of cool stuff on the competitive side. But the name Andrew sent me yesterday, woo, I tried to get this person. Leslie tried to get this person. Andrew did not give up in getting to this person, and he sent me a screenshot last night of their confirmation email. So, this will be one of the biggest guests we've ever had. For sure. For sure, one of the biggest guests. Why don't you put your paws down? Stop trying to climb up me. So, publicly, Andrew, great job. He says he's so excited. I am too. This is one big enough that there's a collection of interviews that Jenny and I have talked about doing called, like, Legends. This person would go in that book. Now consider the other names that would go in that book. Bill Wallace and Fumio Demura. This person would go on that list. June Rhee. Stacy says, you got Dan Millman? You know, we did not. But I also don't think that Dan Millman has much in the way of martial arts background. Andrew says all those names I used are ones he used to convince this person to come on. And that's one of the interesting things about the show, is that the more names we can throw out, this person's been on the show, this list of people have been on the show. And when you're talking about famous people, they don't like to be left out. What do you mean all these other people that are supposedly my contemporaries have been on this show and I haven't? That's not a great place to lay. You're gonna fall. You're such a goof. A lot of celebrities have really poor self-esteem. They're really unsure of themselves. And so if you create a situation where unless they do a thing, they feel left out. See, a lot of people make the mistake with celebrities. They kiss their butt. Everybody kisses their butt. Don't kiss their butt. It's almost, was this in the early 2000s? The concept of this whole, I'm not even going to follow that through. But to imply, to allow someone to connect dots whereby this is an opportunity that may be slightly above them, they take the opportunity. People don't take opportunities below them. If someone came to me and they said, hey, do you want, well, maybe I'm not a good example because I take just about every opportunity. It's kind of the Gary Vee mindset. But let's say somebody said, hey, I have a podcast. I don't publish it. I'm the only person that listens. Do you want to record an episode with me? I'd probably say no, because that would be weird. Right? Right, Buzz? That would be weird. But just about anything else I would do. Now, as time passes, as we kind of move up the ladder, when people reach out to me and they say, hey, you want to be on my show? If it seems like something that helps me move up, because by definition it is slightly above the average of what I've done, then I'll do it. That's how we get better, right? If you want to get stronger, you don't lift weight below what you can do, or far below. I've given this analogy before. If I can lift 100 pounds, I'm not getting stronger lifting 5 pounds, or 10 pounds, or honestly even 20 pounds. I've got to lift, depending on the scientific research you're looking at, usually somewhere between 65 and 85 pounds at minimum for a certain number of repetitions to get my body to adapt. Same kind of thing happens when you're looking at increasing your stock, your celebrity. You've got to take opportunities that raise your celebrity, not lower it. This is something that actors have to worry about. Should I be in this thing? You know, does this make me look bad? Stacy says they put their pants on the same way we do. Celebrities love normal conversations too. I say this from my experience as a concert photographer. Yeah, I completely agree. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to in this guest that Andrew has scheduled is that I'm a different interviewer now. I've been around enough famous people. I've talked to enough celebrity martial artists. It's not going to faze me. I'll be able to have a real conversation, and I'm looking forward to that. Andrew, make a note. We should talk about whether or not we do this one in video. That's my phone saying, reminder, you have an event coming up today. Yeah. That's the one I mentioned. It's an online thing put out by one of the organizations I'm on the board for. I'll check it out. What else is going on? This weekend, got a bunch of things. So, my good friend Craig Wareham is coming to visit this evening. We're going to have dinner. And then tomorrow, I've got 8th grade graduation to attend. For someone that means a lot, the family means a lot. And then a social gathering tomorrow evening. And then Sunday, I think Sunday is going to be gardening and outside. There's so many projects. There's a million projects. This place is kind of a disaster all the projects that are going on right now. I've got 3 computers over there in pieces that I'm going to put back together so they can get donated, and one I've got to run specs on for the client. But just, there's stuff. There's tons of stuff. There's always stuff. You know what I mean? Right, Buzz? Well, I think that's enough to blab about. So I'm going to see what you guys gave me to blab about. Can we rest this on your head? No? Okay. That noise, that purr that she makes, that I think you can probably just barely hear, that real high pitch. It's one of my favorite sounds in the world. I'm really going to miss it. I don't know how long we have. She's lost a ton of weight. I don't care about Windows 11. YouTube. All right, so I got some questions here from Stacy. I got jokes from Frank. I got quotes from Frank. So let's start with Frank's jokes because it is Funday Friday. Stacy says, record that sound. I have sounds of many of my kitties. Well, she's on a ton of YouTube videos. And honestly, yeah, you're right. I will. June is dairy month. I like milk. Milk isn't always thrilled with me, but I like milk. I was thinking about making a dairy joke, but that would have been a bit too cheesy. My dad's favorite story is about how he single-handedly saved a dairy farm from bankruptcy. The story's pretty cheesy, but he milks it for all it's worth. My new girlfriend told me she doesn't eat dairy products. I said, no way! Why don't dairy farmers wear flip-flops? Because they lactose. I just drove by an abandoned Dairy Queen. I guess you could say it was deserted. What do you call an epic cow? Legendary. That makes me think of How I Met Your Mother. Did you hear about the farmer that failed dairy farming school? He didn't work well with others. Just saw a guy punch a cow in the face. How dare he? One more. What do you call a dairy cow that doesn't produce milk? In utter failure. Oh, these are great. These are great. These are almost as good as the sushi ones. All right. And so Frank also gave us some quotes from Clint Eastwood. And I got a couple things from Stacy. So let me start with Clint Eastwood quote, and then I'll read one of Stacy's. On this day in 1930, actor Clint Eastwood was born. 1930. Yeah, he's 91. He's still alive. He is well known for his role as Dirty Harry, but he was also in the 2004 boxing film $1 Million Baby, which messed me up. Oh, that movie. It's a good movie, but holy cow. The film won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Motion Picture of the Year. If you haven't seen it, it's a good film, but make sure you go into it already in a really good headspace. Like, if you're depressed, don't watch that movie, because it's going to get worse. Oh, this coffee is so good. This is the Costa Rican coffee. Most people are afraid of change, but if you look at it as something you can always count on, then it can be a comfort. Things don't remain the same. We are the same. I am a different person today than I was yesterday, even if only because of the experiences of yesterday. I've got slightly different skin, and my physical capacity is slightly different, whether it's more or less, I don't know. But I am not the exact same person I was. This furball here is not the same, excuse me, she was. You are not the same you were. I used to really fear change. I used to put a ton of control in place to try and limit change and make sure that the things around me happen exactly the way they were. This is where I would schedule everything. Basically everything, but, the bathroom. What days am I going to cut my hair? When am I going to do this, 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 this? And it became overwhelming, and I couldn't handle it anymore. Because things would always come in and require change. We can't have, even if we could have a perfectly planned out day, would you want it? Would you want to do that? I wouldn't. When I think about all of the best things that have happened, they've at least been partially due to things that I didn't expect. This show. At no point in the planning for Whistlekick was this show on the radar. The original plan for Martial Arts Radio didn't involve me as the host. When we started Martial Journal, I had no idea we were going to come out with a magazine. Plans are great, but you have to adjust them. You have to adapt. And let's look at something from Stacy. What is the most unusual martial art you've gotten to see in person? I'm not saying good or bad, just not the standards like karate, taekwondo, judo, etc. In person. When you think of, if you think of those as being the more standard martial arts, Andrew says, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face. Yeah, Mike Tyson quote. I caught a TikTok this morning that Tyson Fury is named after Mike Tyson. Because Tyson Fury, who, if you follow boxing at all, you know that name. Tyson Fury's father was a pro boxer, and Mike Tyson was his hero. And when Tyson Fury was born, he was premature, 2 months premature, like 1 pound something, and named him Tyson. That's kind of a cool story. By the way, I've been doing some stuff on TikTok. You can find me at Jeremy Lesniak. I'm learning. I'm figuring out stuff. It's getting a little better each day. So the most unusual, I'm going to give it a tie. And you've heard of both of these because I haven't really had a chance to see in, well, all right, I can think of 3. So the first would be like HEMA, Historical European Martial Arts. I've seen people put on armor and beat each other with blunt swords. I've seen that. That was crazy. And I don't mean that they just, people that didn't know what they were doing. This was real. Like these people knew what was up, and it was really cool. Capoeira is also not so much of a, it is a traditional martial art, but it is not a typical martial art. It's gotten a lot bigger in the last 20 years. I remember when I went to college, and what was it, end of my sophomore year, we had a couple capoeira programs start. It was awesome, and nobody else was doing capoeira, to the point where when I mentioned I had done a little bit of capoeira, people were begging me to teach them. I was like, I'll show you what I know. It's not a lot. So I would teach them. And then the other is silat. Silat, as an Indonesian martial art, has gained a lot of popularity in the last few years. But if you watch like a silat form, really interesting stuff, really different. Check it out. Check it out. Well, when people think of silat, oftentimes in the modern era, we're talking about combatives, because there's some really cool stuff around sticks and knives. But there are forms. I've seen those forms. I've seen someone do those forms, and really cool stuff. Are you going to come back now? She walked all the way over there. Now she's going to come back. You're a very strange cat. Another Clint Eastwood quote. For those of you that are Clint Eastwood fans, or at least seen his movies, what are your favorites? Because I think the only one I've seen is $1 Million Baby. Gran Torino has piqued my interest at times. I've just never seen it. Do you want to sit here? It's fine. I'm interested in the fact that the less secure a man is, the more likely he is to have extreme prejudice. Well, that's intriguing. Do I agree with that? I think there is a correlation there. I do. I think I agree. I'm not going to speak on it because I don't know that I can do it diplomatically. And it's also a very new thought for me, a new idea, and I don't want to get it wrong. I find prejudice incredibly interesting because there's a huge element of it that's taught, but how much you're taught and what you do with it becomes interesting. I am very fortunate that I had people in my life who were prejudiced, and I did not know they were. Now, whether that was out of embarrassment that people would find out, or embarrassment from themselves and they weren't trying to pass it on, I don't know. But I'm glad I didn't know. Because by the time those prejudices really started to surface, it was too late. I'd built a lot of foundation. And there's a certain amount of prejudice that's always going to show up. It is, unfortunately, it is genetically, and it is innate. But it doesn't mean that we can't work to reduce and suppress that instinct. Right? Did you hear that? Oh, it's kind of like bagpipes. Get a cat. You can make it make that noise. And just looking at the time, I'm going to leave the other 3 Clint Eastwood quotes for you, if you want to go check them out. And I'm going to answer Stacy's question. How do you teach respect? You don't. I don't think you do teach respect. If someone respects you, they respect you. Now, you can have influence over what they do respect. I can, if I had a child or a student, I could help them understand why certain qualities are worthy of respect. I can teach them how you express respect, but you can't teach respect. You can fake it. There's an episode we did, and it had, I'm trying to remember, yeah, the concept was that respect can only be given, it can't be demanded. If you demand that I respect you, I can perform actions. I can bow to you and it not mean anything to me. I can refer to you by a title and still not respect you. Respect is not quite an emotion, it's a sentiment, it's a feeling, it's a belief. It's not an outward act. I have been accused on many occasions throughout my life of not being respectful when the actions I've taken didn't seem to be respectful when in essence they really were. The people that I respect, I respect. And I could, here's a great example. If I teased someone, let's say somebody that I care about, let's say I was in the middle of a martial arts class and I teased the instructor, completely out of line. Right? Does that mean I don't respect the instructor? Or does that mean that my respect is not being expressed? Those are 2 different things. You can teach the expression of respect. You can attempt to shape the values and the valuing of qualities that will make someone respect someone else or something else. but you can't actually make them respect it. You want proof? Any teenager. Any teenager is going to go through phases where they're definitely not being outwardly expressful of respect. And at times, some of that's genuine. They get so frustrated and they're so loaded up on hormones that they're not seeing the world the same way others are. Respect is a really interesting thing. Usually, where does it come from? In my opinion, respecting yourself. If you respect yourself, if you truly respect yourself, it becomes a lot easier to respect others. If you respect yourself, you understand the work that it takes just to be a functional member of society. And when you see that in others, when you see them doing good things, treating people well, you know the effort that takes, and there's respect for that. I respect all of you for joining me on this show. I respect all of you for your time training and the other things that you do to further martial arts, whether you're simply learning it or you're teaching it, whatever you do. Do I respect the cat? In so much that she's a cat. She does her cat things. Respect can have context and can be variable based on expectations. Perfect example. Andrew says, I respect you, but not your taste in movies. Well, that's a good thing. Because it means I don't have to respect your taste in movies. The last thing I'll share with you, completely unrelated, but related to movies. Andrew has scheduled the next two How to Fight guests, two returning guests, people that I had a lot of fun with when they came on. One of whom I said, you know, I don't know if this person would do it, but I've got a feeling that she would be amazing and we would have a ton of fun. See if she will do it. And she said yes, and now she's got to pick a film. I think we're on to something with How to Fight. Next one comes out next Thursday. Exchanged some emails with Julius, messages with Julius yesterday. So we're on track. We're building something kind of cool with that. So if you haven't checked out the first one, go check out the first How to Fight. Watch it. Give us feedback. What do you think? It's good times. All right. I'm going to go. I hope you have an awesome weekend. Thanks for joining me. Enjoy everything you're doing. Respect yourself. And show other people respect where it's deserved. Andrew says, have a great day, everyone. Yeah, have a great day, great weekend. Take care, be well, and I'll see you back here on Monday. Peace.